This is John reporting from Psycho Las Vegas. It is really crazy, but a really good time here. The event's well organized. I had to go outside to escape the noise, but it's a great time. A lot of bands, a lot of people, a lot of really big dudes, long hair, long beard, tattoos. I think I'm the only guy that doesn't have tattoos all up and down his arm. Even the women are extra large, some of them. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and downloading. This is episode 76, The Pod Bay Door. John's with me. How you doing, John?
I'm doing all right.
Fantastic. Hey, our sponsor this month is a returning sponsor. Always love to see him come back. MRS Events.
Hot chicks.
Hot chicks, John. The hot guys too, though.
Oh.
Yeah, they're in the back.
Okay.
Yeah. But MRS Events, you can find them at mrs-events.com. For all of your event needs in Las Vegas or in the southwestern or western regions, including California and Utah, they can take care of that. They do fantastic talent and event planning, and it's mrs-events.com. Check those guys out if you have a party coming up. All right, John. I normally don't talk numbers because they're virtually impossible to quote.
Yeah, and there's too many of them.
There's too many numbers, yes. Especially rolling around my head. But I have a listener. He's a dedicated listener.
Good.
His name's Mark.
All right. What's
and
Mark's question?
Mark, a few podcasts ago, said, hey, talk about some numbers. I'm going to try, Mark. But the Pod Bay Door show is, what are we? Let's see, February 14th. Valentine's Day is our birthday.
Last year. That's right.
And so we're moving on 18, 19 months.
Yeah.
Again, everything flows through iTunes. For people that don't know, podcasts are generally done through iTunes. iTunes is the end-all, be-all to podcasts. There is a tremendous number of podcast sponsors and posting areas, but they all basically draw their numbers from iTunes. Well, iTunes for many, many years said, go take a hike on. We're not going to tell you any numbers. We don't have to. And then jobs died, and they still said we're not gonna share anything. And then finally they put this beta out, and as far as analytics, and based on the information that I've gotten from other podcasters and the research that I've done, it's crap. It's inaccurate. It makes no sense, and it doesn't mesh at all with your media servers or your media providers. For example, we're Podbean, and I look at Podbean's numbers and I look at iTunes numbers, and not even close. So it's very hard to tell. But I'm gonna give our listeners some numbers here. I'm trying my best. So we have roughly 2,500 subscribers. Now, a subscriber does not. You can't say, okay, so you're gonna have 2,500 downloads, per episode.
Yeah.
No, that's not true, because obviously a person can download and not subscribe.
Just like a magazine.
Exactly. And they can go through our blog. They can go through YouTube. They can go through our .com. So and not be a subscriber to any of those.
Right.
But we have about 2,500 subscribers. Not great. It's not Joe Rogan, but it's just John and me.
Yeah.
So we're inching towards 50,000 downloads across all formats.
Good.
And again, you have to take sort of an amalgam of information between iTunes and Podbean and all these other formats and try to derive that number. But we're clawing towards 50K, which is not bad in 19 months.
No.
Yeah. Sad again, with Corolla and Rogan and all these people, Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
They're crushing everything, but pretty good for us. Now, the third method of evaluating a podcast is streaming, and that is through a service like Spotify, where it's not a download, it's not a listen, it's a stream. Now, it actually is different than the other two, and Spotify seems to be about a month behind. So our media server will register Spotify, and it'll kind of like leak in every once in a while. And we have Spotify, so Spotify and streams throughout all the formats. That's extra. I have no idea what those numbers are. So Mark, there you go. There's a couple of numbers for you. I did my best. So as you heard on the promo, on the lead-in, John has attended Psycho Vegas.
Yes.
John, how was it?
Great.
I would never go.
You would never go.
I would never go. No. You know why?
Why?
There's people.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of people.
And there's weird people, and they mosh you.
Well, yeah. In fact, I remember it was out at the pool. Because they have 3 venues.
Pool where?
The Hard Rock Hotel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they have 3 venues for the performances, and sometimes they'll be all going on at the same time. The pools usually they don't start till the evening because they're going to have hotel guests there that are entitled to use the swimming pool because they paid for the room, but they didn't pay for the venue. So those are or the concerts. So those are only in the evening. But they will, once they get rolling at night. They'll have a performance at the pool. They'll have one at Vinyl, which is the smaller nightclub inside the Hard Rock. And then they'll have one at the Joint, which is the big one. That holds 4,000. So they'll have them all going at the same time. I think the last performance comes on at 2 in the morning, which would be Sunday morning, 2 to 3. And then they start up again Sunday. And the last... it goes into the wee hours of Monday morning. Okay. So it's long. It started Thursday and it goes through that Monday. The one thing I don't like is when you show up, if you have a 3-day pass like I did, is they give you a wristband and they tell you you cannot take it off for the whole 4 days. So I had to wear this wristband for 4 goddamn days, and I thought, oh, come on, man. Can I get it on? It itches or whatever, get wet and what have you. Nope, that's it. So the other thing I noticed is that I was one of the only people I saw there that did not have either hair down past my shoulders, a foot-long beard, or arms, their legs completely covered in tattoos, including the chicks.
Nice.
That were there. They usually had, they had the long hair, but they had the tattoos. And some of them had beards, yeah.
Okay.
And also, we've talked before about we really don't like to look at fat women in bikinis.
Yes.
I don't like to see fat guys in any kind of swimsuit out at the pool. They just don't look good either.
So. So they were swimwear.
Oh yeah, at the pool they will have the actual stage. It holds quite a few people. I think they say 2,500.
I think so.
And they'll have depending on the band, but they'll have a mosh circle in the swimming pool. That's interesting to see. But I didn't see anybody dive into the swimming pool. I saw people dive into the crowd.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody dive in the swimming pool, which kind of surprised me. I figured somebody would.
Well, and considering the age of the fans of these bands, it's probably like watching water airrobics at a retirement home.
Yeah. It tends to be, even though these are more or less obscure bands.
Yeah.
The headliner who I didn't go see myself, but the overall headliner was Glenn Danzig.
Okay.
Who used to be with the New Misfits. So, but he was the overall headliner. Most of the other bands are, again, they're going to be a variation of metal, and the various subgenres of metal, atmospheric, black metal, and then there'll be some other ones that are like Goblin, which is an old Italian band from the 70s that are best known for doing the soundtracks to the movie Suspiria and other Dario Argento films. He was a well-known horror director, Italian horror director. So they did the soundtracks for his movies back in the 70s, and they were one of the performers. So
now, which band? Now, Glenn Danzig, it wasn't the band Danzig?
Yes, and then when he left Misfits, then he was just Danzig.
I gotcha.
That's what it was. I think his song "Mother" was probably his most well-known one.
Okay. Yeah, I have a great memory, but I don't know the genres of all these people. Yeah. Now, which one did you enjoy the most, and why?
Well, I got a chance to see Wolves in the Throne Room, which they're out of the Pacific Northwest. It was an interesting set. Again, at most of those shows, what's most interesting about it is the crowd. To see who shows up for them.
Now, Wolves in the Showroom, how old, new band, old band?
Yeah, they're a newer band. I say the guys are there in their 20s.
And the crowd is it an eclectic crowd?
It's pretty eclectic. Okay. I would say older millennials.
Okay.
On average, it's kind of hard to tell when they've got that foot-long beard. Some of them are gray and some of them are black.
Sure.
So I would say that 30-ish
Okay.
there. There was also the band Bachuka from Poland. They were good too. I liked their
Okay.
show.
Now, and these were poolside.
Not Bachuka. They
Bachuka.
played at the joint.
Oh, so you went inside.
Yeah.
But you were at the pool.
Yes.
And you didn't go in. Did you go in the pool?
No, I didn't go in the pool.
Okay.
Yeah, but there were people in the pool listening to the show, and I don't know how well they can see because they're basically looking at the crowd's asses, right? Because they're
now. So in total, you could be there 4 days, 3 days.
Yeah, I guess it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I understand that the tickets are about $3.
$3 for the 4 days, and then what they did is basically you buy the weekend, 3 days, and then they give you Thursday.
Okay.
So if you were, if you bought one of the early tickets, they had a cap on, I think, 2,500 people.
Yeah.
Then they sold individual days. They sold one for Friday, one for Saturday, one for Sunday. Those are less. Those are like $100.
I gotcha.
So they would have as many as, I think I counted 20 bands at one day.
So okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, you could see 50 to 60 bands.
Yeah, that's
okay.
right. That's how many it played there.
Okay. Well, that makes it, because I know that you don't receive anything further. I mean, you $3 get you in.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
That's it.
So I guess 50 bands and $300. I guess it's all right.
Yeah.
If you're a fan.
Yeah.
But do you think most people come and stay the entire day? I mean, there are those.
Yeah, I mean, they do have the individual. I know that the Friday sold out. And it was one of the days I thought was least interesting. So I kind of thought, didn't even bother to go on Friday. But Saturday looked good, and then it goes into Sunday. And I guess if people stay there in the hotel. Yeah. Now, and the Hard Rock was a great venue for that because they had a place, because they had the 3 venues. And for a festival like that, you do need to have separate stages, to the sense that you can have 3 performances going on simultaneously and not have them, here, you can't, drown each other out.
Sure. So,
for example, Las Regis, which was downtown, they had 2 side-by-side stages. So they had a small stage, they had a big stage, but it was only one group stage was active, and then the other one they were setting up for the next band.
Okay.
But here they had 3, would go as many as 3 simultaneously.
Okay.
So it would be interesting to see what they do next year, because they did post, the organizers, that said, RIP Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, because they've been bought by Richard Branson.
Oh.
And they're going to become a Virgin Atlantic Hotel or Virgin Hotel.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen to the venues there? But apparently Psycho Las Vegas will move next year. Now, they did say they would be on the Strip. I don't know where, but
okay, all right.
They're looking.
So this might put you on the spot, but we were actually doing the podcast on your last Psycho Vegas.
Yeah.
Comparison. What do you think? Better?
I thought the bands last year for me were better, or maybe in some ways it was the timing also.
Okay.
Because it just happened to be that pretty much all the bands that I wanted to see, or my son wanted to see, were all on the same day, and they all followed one another. So we didn't have an overlap of like, gee, we'd like to see both of them, and they're both playing, or even the same venue. I think they were all in the joint last year. So we pretty much just camped out, and this year they've been kind of spread across 2 or 3 days.
How about the quality of the event? I mean, does it stay consistent?
Yeah, they are good about, the people know what they're talking about. You go in there and they give you the rules or whatever. What I don't like I said, was wearing the fucking wristband for 4 days and not being able to take it off. They need to come up with something better than that. Even if it's like, okay, you when you register or when you sign in, you turn in your ticket, that they give you a wristband for every day. And say, if you lose it, tough.
Yeah.
But here's your Friday, here's your Saturday, here's your Sunday wristband. You put it on, whatever.
Wow.
No. They put one on, and you got to wear it the whole time.
Now, did your boy enjoy it as you did? Or
Yeah.
So?
He knows the bands better than I do sometimes.
Okay.
Or he has more time to listen to some of the more obscure ones.
Yeah.
And I might know one song, but he'll know their whole,
All right. Well, it sounds like you had a great time, though.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and that's a tough ticket, though. $300. I don't know if there's anything. I mean, we've got some $300 shows coming in.
Yeah.
I know Bill Burr, a comedian that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
His price point is really high.
The Rolling Stones were $275.
Yeah.
I think, and that's just what are they going to play, like 90 minutes?
Same.
2 hours.
Yeah. What's the set for Psycho bands? Psycho Vegas.
Oh,
bands?
It'll depend.
Most
Most of them are about an hour and 10 minutes. I think.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
An hour, 45 minutes for some of the lower bands. But some of them, I mean, last year they had a band, Swans. They played 2 hours. They had a 2-hour set.
Oh,
so
that's quality time.
Yeah, it
That's
is. Most of it's an hour.
Well, John, in keeping with your Psycho Vegas visit, I found some music venue and Las Vegas venue related news, and I honestly I have to say that I didn't know any of these.
Right.
I don't know how much they'll affect my social life, but we'll see. Number one, these are in no particular order. Park MGM. Park MGM, of course, is the new space over where Monte Carlo is, and they're doing okay. The price points for the restaurants and all the venues in the park and the link in Las Vegas, right there in the Strip, are too high. Mm-hmm. Most people have made mention that. They said it's a wonderful place to stroll around, maybe get 1 drink or 2 drinks, but everybody in general agrees that everything is too high. Added to all the other problems, with the resort fees and the parking and
we talked about this before, that they want to turn us into every other tourist trap or tourist destination at $15 a drink or something like that. Yeah,
and everything is we're so jam-packed. Every square foot of the Las Vegas Strip area has so much to offer. If they don't drive down these prices, man, I'm telling you, people are going to start walking by. But Park MGM, coming there is an 11,000 square, it's called On the Record. And it's an 11,000 square foot multi-location lounge stage adult complex.
Nice.
And it's looks fantastic. I just don't know. MGM Resorts International and Park MGM, they build wonderful stuff. I mean, it is fantastic looking. They have all the bells and whistles. I mean, they have all the technology you could possibly imagine. I noticed the seats even have embedded chargers. I mean, something just like like nice. Airports.
Yeah.
But 11,000 square feet, and it brings up, now that we've talked about the first one, I have 5 to make mention of. I'm wondering if this is the beginning of literally putting gaming second place. I mean, if you at the end of this list, you tell me if you think that.
Yeah.
Next one is a Rio, which you never hear from.
No, they've been silent for a long time. Since they put in the zip line, I think it was the last thing I heard.
Rio zip line, Voodoo Lounge, great place.
Yeah.
Zip line there, and of course they have a notable. They used to. I think it's gone now. Seafood buffet. I think it's gone.
They did. They closed their seafood buffet.
Yeah. Used to be
that was the one.
Yeah, when you and I were telling people where the hell to go, that was it.
Get there early. Had to wait an hour.
Yeah, they are building something to coincide with the WESOP, the World Series of Poker, called The Wall, which is esports. And it's 25,000 square foot esports that is going to basically revolve and share with the World Series of Poker. Yeah, so they'll move esports in and move esports out, and it's going to be a little bit of gaming, but mainly esports. So a lot of people are putting a lot of eggs in the esports basket. So I don't know.
And the esports are
watching people play video games.
Yeah. I mean, and the guys who play the video games look like Jonah Hill when he was fat, right? They're just fat nerds that sit there. I've seen them sit there at their little
They are, and I think the superheroes of esports are the Twinkie in the one hand and the joystick in the other, or whatever they're using, and Red Bulls on the go. Now, but I have to say that however much I'm unimpressed with the people, it is huge right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they are bringing in, I don't understand it. I love video games. I play video games almost daily. But I don't want to watch you play video game.
No, I don't understand that
even
either.
if you were good at them.
What do they have? The next evolution of this is you go to the buffet and then you can have buy a ticket and watch somebody else eat.
Yeah.
How's that? Oh, good. He's going back for seconds. Right.
And we kind of already do that with the hot dog, with the eating.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe that's it. Maybe you don't want to watch guys play video games. You like to play them yourselves. Anything. Who wants to watch somebody eat at a buffet, right? You want to do the eating yourself.
That's true, but you know what? We love to watch. We love to watch. I mean, we're voyeuristic as a global community.
Yeah, I mean, I even mentioned that in the concert. What is most interesting? Looking at the other people who show up. Yeah. Some of these people, I say, I wonder what they do in their daily life. That, Jesus Christ, I used to think that years ago, right? What crack in the sidewalk did that guy crawl out of?
Yeah, and I watched the promo videos. Now, granted, there's a lot of production value in these, and I know that, from my business, but they're riveted. I mean, if you look at these crowds, they are riveted at these giant screens watching these guys play whatever iteration of Street Fighters out there. Yeah. It amazes me. But 25,000 square feet, World Series of Poker, to go along with that at the Rio. I don't know. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. Because World Series of Poker is Rio's cash cow.
Yeah.
So I know that was a tough sell to combine it with something, especially poker and video games. I don't know.
New school, old school.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think so. Number 3, the link is putting. Now this one you might find interesting. And it has to do with a question at the end of the show.
All right.
The link is putting 100,000 square foot. Now, the link, of course, is on the Strip as well.
Yeah.
Much like the Park Center.
Yeah.
And it's over. It's Margaritaville. It took the place of O'Shea's.
Yeah.
It's right near Flamingo Hilton.
Yeah, and the observation wheel.
Yes, the high roller.
Yeah.
Good thing one time.
Yeah.
But the link, 100,000 square foot, multi-story, $100 million complex, from ground to, I think, 4 levels. Excuse me, to 4 levels, all themed Bangkok, Thailand.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Are they gonna have? Are they gonna have bar girls?
I don't know. We have hookers ready to go. I mean, they're
Yeah.
But everything.
One night in Bangkok.
One night in Bangkok. And I saw some artistic renderings of it.
Yeah.
And it looks great.
Yeah.
Looks great. I mean, they've got the yellow and the red and the everything going on. And they'll have street level carts just like they do in the Bangkok streets.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic, but 100,000 square feet, $100 million.
But are they going to have the banana show?
I don't know. See, John knows secrets of Bangkok, Thailand. He has been there. I have not. But that's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Big. Yeah.
I don't know. The Sands, back in our old haunting ground, has the MSG, and I swear to God, I didn't see that right, but it's the MSG Sphere. And MSG is actually the builders and construction people and the runners of Madison Square Garden.
Right. Okay.
Are putting in a 500 square foot by 300 square foot arena in the Sands.
500 square foot?
That's it. Or 5,000 square foot, sorry, by 3,600 square foot, I believe.
Okay. It's still small.
Yeah, still small. Spherical arena.
Oh, I heard about
in
that.
the Sands.
Yeah.
And again, it's just an arena for all different types of things. But first thing on their list of what we're going to have or what they're going to have, esports.
Oh.
I know. And number 5, last one on this real quick list, the Big Apple roller coaster is now going virtual. So they are they're doing an entire thematic thing. They've redone it, put a lot of money into this, and they're going virtual. Meaning that you'll ride the ride with virtual goggles on.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, Six Flags Magic Mountain has that. They do it periodically for the Lex Luthor Drop of Doom, which I have done, but I've not done it virtually. And the Drop of Doom with your goggles on, you're basically, and you have a joystick of sorts, and you're fighting aliens all the way up and all the way down, but while dropping. So, I mean, you have that weightlessness of the drop ride while not being, in your right eyes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, the Big Apple roller coaster includes a virtual ride. I'd love to do it, but everybody that I talk to are like, oh, no, pass. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think of the virtual thing?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't tried. I mean, I've done the 3D type rides that stay still. We've done those. And they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. I don't know if it's an overload in sense of, okay, you're really falling,
Yeah.
and maybe I kind of want to either enjoy that or whatever on its own, because that is real. I don't need the added stimulation of all this other shit going on.
Right.
Maybe, again, I don't know. I'd have to try that out.
All right.
Yeah.
So at the end of this quick list of 5,
Yeah.
I posit that this is the tip of a wave of a larger tsunami that's hitting Vegas. That Vegas is finally going to say, okay, we're going to try gaming in second place.
Yeah.
And we're going to try food and esports and all of these other ancillary items that they used to be lost leaders in Vegas.
Yeah.
We're going to make those number 1 and make gambling number 2. What do you think?
It sounds like that, and my concern is that they're following, by the time they get all this built, this whole esports thing might be a fad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
And if you look at somebody like Steve Jobs, you try to make a comparison of like somebody like Steve Jobs with Steve Wynn, or, Wynn came here and basically kind of reinvented the strip back in the 90s, and it had a good run. When Steve Jobs was at Apple, and he came out with the iPad, it was like, you've never seen one of these before, but you're going to want one. And people kind of ridiculed it first. Right? They're kind of joking about, they call it an iPad and maybe a mini pad, with jokes about feminine napkins.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, when people really tried it out, how do you make a phone call on it? They thought it was a joke. They really liked it, and now tablets are established. So he came in and basically told people, this is what you want.
Right.
I don't see that going on here. I've seen them trying to follow this wave of esports, and by the time they get everything built and up, it might be past.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's the problem with technology entertainment, is that there is a guaranteed obsolescence.
Yes. And the other thing, again, are the people that like to play those types of games. They're kind of nerdy. Obviously, they're sitting there. If they get that good at a game,
Yeah.
then they're spending a lot of time in front of that computer, and they're not doing anything else.
Yeah.
If you're spending a lot of time playing a game, you're not out socializing. You're not out spending money. You're not out trying to pick somebody up. You're not out getting drunk. You're not doing any of those things, which Las Vegas is designed for.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's designed for socializing. They don't want you in your room. Now they're sort of pander to somebody that doesn't want to do anything but sit on his ass and look at a computer monitor, right? And then no, not only that, but other people watching this guy look at the monitor. I mean, it's just like this whole frame of, are these people really going to spend any money?
Oh, I'm telling you, I wish I was a fly in the wall, but I really don't have to be a fly in the wall to know that there have been board meetings at the MGM Resorts International, Caesars Harrah's, Boyd, and all the others in town, like, oh my God, what the hell are we going to do? How did this happen? And then, they bring in all their slightly post-millennial marketing PR people and say, all right, let's try your ideas. And they're trying these out. But see, the problem is when Las Vegas tries things out, it's hundreds of millions of dollars and hundreds and thousands of square feet that they could be using when they used to say, no, we're going to put a bank of machines.
Yeah.
Now they're not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, there are some scared VIPs or VPs and executive people in all of these companies that they are old school. The people running Las Vegas are not millennials.
Yeah. No.
And they don't get them. And they're having to hire people that do or say they do.
And this is also one of the effects, I think, of just the financial inequality that happens here. When you have so much wealth concentrated in a small part of the population, and you're in the business of appealing to the masses, and you're trying to find out, how can I get those people to come here to fork over money now that they don't have, you're in a tough situation.
Yes, absolutely.
Because then it's like, well, we just have to cater to those high-end people. And that's when you have, you have the luxury suites, and you have all of those high-end restaurants and what have you, but they're expensive. And people come here thinking, as it was in the past, that things were cheap, that there were lost leaders, and they're not there anymore. So that's why they get upset and they're pissed off that they're just paying through the nose for everything, like they do everywhere else.
Right. Now, I saw an article, and it came through Thrillist, which, of course, I don't accept as on any level of journalism.
Yeah.
But I found it interesting that they are putting out there that there was a poll taken of Las Vegas visitors. And the crux of it for me is that, and it was how much money you were spending on this, and this. And food, lodging was the highest, lodging and travel, then food. And then it was really interesting. Gaming was not last, but it was close to last. But what was right above gaming? Marijuana.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think you had mentioned that,
I know.
we have the cheapest rates here, too.
Yes. And our marijuana industry is doing well. Apparently, the first tax revenue has been distributed to the educational system.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, good on you, marijuana. I still think it's a crock of shit, but, it is what it is.
Gives new meaning to high school.
There you go. John, Jason from New York sent you a question. And it has to do with your many, many travels. How many countries have you visited, and how many of those did you gamble in?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't think
I mean gaming, not with your life.
Yeah. Of course, some countries, like a lot of countries, don't allow it, like Dubai,
yes,
United Arab Emirates.
At all? Nothing.
I don't see it there. I mean, in Dubai, when I was there, you could drink.
Yeah.
Now, I had friends that lived in the UAE. They lived in Abu Dhabi. And taught in one of the colleges. And I thought it was really cool because this guy had a license to drink. And you can get those, and because not all of the Emirates, or 9 Emirates, allow drinking. So there's kind of like it is here. I mean, we have dry states, right? Dry counties, you can't get alcohol. So it's kind of the same thing there. And he used to tell me about cutting through the desert sometimes in a pickup truck or in a truck. Yeah, it had a case of beer in the back, and going through an emirate that was where drinking was banned regardless of who you were, Muslim or not. Mm-hmm. So there are those cultures, that I've been in. But in Japan, I went to a pachinko parlor one time. The noise is deafening. When you open the door, it is palpable. You will feel it. It'll just hit you in a wall of sound. Mm-hmm. Technically, gambling is not legal in Japan either. But what they have is, you cash in the balls. Mm-hmm. You buy so many balls to play with, and then you cash those in for a quote-unquote prize, to almost kind of like you do at some of the, like the bowling alley.
Like
skee ball,
yeah,
exactly. Okay. So is that really gambling? Well, I guess it is, Yeah. Manila, they have casinos. Okay. But I live in Las Vegas. I've been there, and I didn't gamble. So I have not gambled in very many countries. I've seen other things. I've seen, I take that back. In Japan, we also had horse racing. I lived near what they call the Keibajo. I lived in the city that had a Keibajo. I never actually went.
Now, is that thoroughbred or harness?
That was thoroughbred racing, okay. I believe. Yeah. And usually you can always tell, when I get on a train almost anywhere in Japan, if I saw a bunch of grungy old men, I would think, oh, they must have a horse racing around here. Then you would hear the guy, the train comes up to a stop, and they would call it Keibajo no Mai, the stop in front of the horse racing track, and all the grody guys got off.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm taking a trip to Chicago very soon in September. Yeah. We're going to go to, I've already arranged my private VIP box at Arlington Park.
Cool.
Yeah, and they have a train just like that. It goes from Chicago, and there's an Arlington Park exit. Yeah. And you get off and you walk over to the park. So I'm really looking forward to it. That's they have a split. It's thoroughbred. I believe it's thoroughbred and harness racing. Yeah. Which I love to watch. Now I'm going to put you on the spot. It's tough. How many countries have you visited?
I think I'm going to say 10. 10. I'm going to say 10 because I'm counting Hong Kong separately from China. Okay. Because when I was there, when I visited Hong Kong, it was still part of the British Empire. Oh, wow. So there was Hong Kong, and then later I went to mainland China. I've been to Taiwan, so basically all 3 Chinas. Thailand, Malaysia. Oh, Nepal. I forgot about Nepal. Of course, Japan, Korea, Philippines, Dubai, Mexico. That's 11 right there. Wow. Canada, 12.
Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Canada.
Canada. Well, they look like us so much. So at least those 12.
All right. Yeah. So, see, whereas you spent a significant time in Asia, I have not.
Yeah. Oh, I've been to England too. I forgot.
Okay. Yeah, very good. See, most of my time has been spent south of our border or Europe. Yeah. But no Asia. That's fantastic. Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever not enjoyed traveling?
I don't enjoy the act of traveling,
Yeah.
getting from one place to another,
Right.
but every place I've been to, I enjoyed having been there. There isn't, even if the experience at times wasn't great for some reason. I talked last time about the shithole I stayed at in Malaysia.
Yes.
And then, the oppression that I felt there because of the, anti-drug crusades that they had. Not that I had any on me at that time.
Right.
But nevertheless, it's kind of a creepy feeling. Besides that, it was great. Being in Nepal, and they had a monsoon when I was trekking and it washed everything out. I had to spend the night in a Tibetan refugee camp. So, but hey, it was fun.
Yeah, you've done some amazing things. Yes, I shared your Heart of Darkness, the horror room that you described in Malaysia, and people can't even fathom that. Most people the roughing it is hitting a Motel 6 in between their their trip, but the Tibet thing that would have been intimidating to me, I think. Yeah, just to be out there and then have. So you traveled like hostel style.
Yeah,
and I've never done that. I don't know if I could.
Yeah, well, in the mountains, you really don't have much choice. So we stayed at, they call them a tea house.
Yeah.
And they were, at that time in the 80s, they cost the equivalent of 10 cents a night to stay in a tea house.
Yeah.
And there was one time we were going to set up a camp because I had a Sherpa guy. We were going to set up a camp, and they started talking to one of the locals. And they said, no, we're going to have to stay somewhere else because they spotted a tiger in the area. One of the locals. So it's probably not safe. They like American food too. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thanks for the Psycho Vegas review, John. I'm curious to see if it gets better. We'll be here another year.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it gets better.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
See the new venue. Hopefully, we can announce the new venue.
Yes.
Or venues, as the case may be. But thanks again to our sponsor this month, MRS Events. You can find them at mrs-events.com for all of your event or talent needs in Las Vegas or beyond. That's MRS Events, and you can find them at mrs-events.com. You can find us or ask us questions, just like Jason from New York City, at thepodbaydorlv@gmail.com. Send all of your questions there or through any of our social networking. One quick announcement. Because we want to do everything right, and because our schedules are so crazy here, the Invisible Maybe, which you can visit at theinvisiblemaybe.com and get a really short preview. You might notice the person speaking on the preview, but it's going to be a fantastic second podcast by the Pod Bay Door Network. I'm gonna make an announcement here that we're gonna probably drop that either probably about mid-October, because our schedules are so crazy, but we want to get this right for you guys so you can enjoy all of our discussions and all of our guests for that new podcast. So look for that mid-October. More announcements coming for that one. It's theinvisiblemaybe.com. But for John, this is Jamey, and we will see you next week. Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.